three-time world champion. And Tyson Fury.
So when is that happening?
We're not sure, but that's my target. 2025, I'm targeting Tyson Fury.
Whoever wins out of them two, then I'll do that fight here in Saudi, and then maybe if it's Joshua, then we do a rematch at Wembley.
Can I ask you, obviously we've been...
That would be the cherry on the top, like that'd be it, finished.
After months of waiting and fluctuations, the Battle of Britain is finally ready to commence, as Anthony Joshua reveals shocking detail. Meanwhile, the fight has been in debate for a very long time due to its immense appeal to the general public, especially the British crowd who have been yearning to see their favorite elites battle it out one last time to crown one of them as their king of boxing. Eddie Hearn, who is a notable British promoter who has been the representative of AJ since the beginning of his career, vehemently believes that this fight between AJ and Fury will be the biggest event in the entire history of British boxing.
But the reality is there's only one fight for Tyson Fury, and that's Anthony Joshua. It's the biggest fight probably in the history of British boxing.
Fury fight is there. We appreciate it might not be as big as it could have been, but it's still the biggest fight in boxing.
Yeah, I agree.
And you know, but I say this, and you're going to get people who watch this going, "Oh, it's like, tell me a bigger fight in boxing." It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
AJ Fury is the biggest fight in the sport of boxing.
Venturing on the vexed subject regarding a possible third fight between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, Eddie Hearn bluntly stated how even though Tyson or his team might think that they want this fight or need another chance at redemption, there is no particular demand for it left, as even His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh, who was once so engrossed in this fight, has abandoned the idea altogether due to its impracticality.
Tell me two names for Tyson Fury. It's only one. For me, Fury fights AJ, or I mean, I don't know who else you'd want to fight. No, but there's no demand for the third fight. There's not. You know, His Excellency is not looking to make that fight, I think.
While addressing the numerous claims regarding both Tyson and AJ not being fit to fight any longer, Eddie blasted these statements issued by numerous critics by labeling them as nothing but haters who don't have enough awareness to see what is going on in front of them, or they don't possess the common rationality. Adding to this lengthy argument, Eddie also stated that after his most recent and highly publicized fight and consequent defeat against Alexander Usyk, many people online started to speculate how Tyson Fury is done and that he has all but lost the passion that he once possessed, but that seems to be far from reality because after really analyzing the bout, it is quite apparent that the Gypsy King is still a vicious fighter who is ready to tear down anyone in his pursuit for glory, and the best chance that he would have for it is to fight AJ in Wembley in front of the awaiting British crowd.
No, people will try, and I've seen it in the media from various people with agendas, to dampen the fire or the size of AJ against Fury. We all know those two come together, and it is just a monster. But I don't think it's the time to start calling it out. I just think common sense, hopefully, will prevail. We're all getting on, we're all talking, we all want to make great fights and do good business. So
Everyone will always want to see it. And by the way, that wasn't a Tyson Fury that looked finished. You know, it wasn't a flat performance, wasn't a poor performance. He didn't look gun shy. He didn't look like his punch resistance was in question like we talked about earlier. So I think Tyson Fury is still, you know, potentially at the peak of his powers, just not good enough to beat Alexander Usyk tonight. But for me, look, you know, AJ against Fury is the one. It's the one at Wembley.
Eddie also shared Anthony's perspective about the entire situation regarding Tyson Fury and Alexander, revealing that although AJ was initially disappointed at Tyson's loss due to his own motive of becoming a world champion now down the sink, he seems to have gotten around this idea based on how now he knows that even Tyson would not take down the Ukrainian devil even if he gave the fight his whole, because Alexander is a beast who has the potential of dismantling anyone's defenses no matter how strong or great they might be. According to the comments by AJ, he thinks that by considering all these factors in mind, it is best that Tyson does not pursue another fight with Usyk, because that will prove to be the final nail in his coffin.
Soothing, if you like, for AJ to know that Fury couldn't beat him either, because obviously it's unbelievably frustrating, and that's, you know, you saw Fury leave the ring straight after the fight, and like, you know what that is? It's like, how, like, I really believed I was going to beat him. We trained so hard. Why? Like, why can't we beat him? That's the feeling of getting beat by Usyk. And like I said earlier, it's not like you're in with this devastating brute who, like, it's just like, I can't figure him out. Like, and that was exactly what I saw from Fury straight after the fight. That was like, it's like just pure frustration. Like, AJ left the ring straight after that fight as well, but he actually come back.
Talking about the logistics of this potential fight, Eddie stated that their main priority at this stage would be to orchestrate as many fights as possible within this year, as both fighters are in a time crunch and will need a spectacular end to their career. Based on these factors, Eddie added that they are looking forward to orchestrating 2 fights this year, where one of these will be held in Riyadh to see the potential of this fight at a market level, and if it concludes with success, then the rematch will be held in the heart of Britain in the iconic Wembley Stadium. In a recent interview, Eddie stated, "Has there ever been a better time? They're both coming off defeats, both on the back end of their careers. One in Wembley, one in Riyadh, 2 fights in 2025. Sharing the same views, Eddie, AJ's trainer, and longtime ally Ben Davidson believes that at this point, the best fight for Tyson Fury is to take on a new challenge in the form of Anthony Joshua, rather than facing his old nemesis Alexander once again. Talking about the potential success of this fight, Ben emphasized that even though many people try to undermine AJ as a fighter and entertainer after the defeat that he faced at the hands of Daniel Dubois, he is still a huge deal and someone who is capable of attracting a tremendous crowd from all around the world.
Anthony Joshua, whether some people like it or not, he's a huge name and a huge draw and still a top heavyweight. Sometimes he's always going to be in a position to be able to put himself in a great fight in against the top guys, and whether that comes in a fight or two's time, or whether that's his next fight.
Ben also talked about the tumultuous journey that AJ has been on for the last couple of years, pointing out the fact that even though the British fighter has undergone many hardships, he has still not given up. Venturing into the regime that he is currently following, Ben stated that at this stage, their main focus is to consistently train and to remain in the best condition of his career, because even though there is no resolute fight agreement on the table, with the ever-changing stage of the heavyweight division in the recent years, due to the involvement of new financier and officials, new game plans and matchups come forward every other day. Moving on, reiterating the same ideas as his promoter and trainer, Anthony Joshua divulged his upcoming plans and what will be his possible strategies going forward. Recalling all the fights that he had participated in 2024, including his most damaging one against Daniel Dubois in September, AJ admitted the fact that in most cases, including this fight, he knows that he should have performed better than he did and should have gone in with more passion and determination, but choosing to let go of the past, the fighter added on that with the strict toke frame that he is in due to his age, he is going to leave no stone unturned and will avail every possible opportunity that he can get his hands on.
He's in a position and put himself in a position for all the hard work and years of success that he's had to be able to do that. So, you know, no plans at the minute. The focus at the minute is just for him to get back to full fitness, get back to full training, and see how the land lies, because week by week, fight by fight, the heavyweight division can change, and how that looks and how opportunities pop up can change. So we'll see.
Looking at the overall fight that he had with Daniel and the reasons that he lost, Anthony highlighted the fact that even though he hoped that he should have won the fight, he understands that he was not at his best and that he could have invested a little more in that bout, but not letting this defeat deter him from his future plans. Anthony emphasized the fact that throughout his career, he has faced countless hiccups and has undergone many humbling experiences, but instead of giving up and losing his passion, all that a fighter can really do is keep on moving forward in hopes that one day he will reach the outcomes that he has been yearning for.
You know, hunger makes me more hungry. It makes me want to work harder, because time is of the essence. Time is limited, so I just want to put in more work. 2024, when I look back, I believe I could have done more. And now I have another chance in 2025 to do more. I'm going to make sure that I take every opportunity that comes my way.
Sharing these supposed plans with his fans and the general public, Anthony did not waste any time in choosing his opponents and jumped right into the bout alongside his fellow British fighter, commenting that though he might have appreciated this fight under different circumstances where both of them were entering as victors, he can't allow this opportunity to slide away from him, because it will not only help him get his footing back into the game, but it will also allow him to fulfill his lifelong dream of becoming a 3-time world champion in the heavyweight division.
Of course, I should have won, but I didn't. And I'm going to go again. Ups and downs, they happen. Some people is always up. My life is up and down. So I got to get used to the turbulent times and keep riding the wave. I can't stop now. I have to keep going until I reach my destination.
With his eyes on the prize, Anthony shared his cryptic thoughts on the results of this alleged fight, stating that even though he believes that he will win based on the continuous hard work and labor that he has been doing in the training camp, nothing concrete or definitive can be said about it other than the fact that they are going to enter the ring where both of them will be looking for a chance at redemption and to settle all the doubts about him as a fighter. Anthony said, "We'll see. Let us get in the ring. Only God knows, but for me, we'll see in the future." Just like his opponent, Tyson Fury, despite his loss to Usyk, still seems to be somewhat optimistic about his future, stating that even though he is very disheartened after the unanimous decision loss, which he thinks should have been given in his favor, he will most probably enter the ring once again this year after some time off in case of an appropriate fight offer is ever presented to him and his team. Talking about the constant skepticism and critique surrounding him regarding his loss of passion and drive for the game, Tyson in his usual sly manner stated that at the end of the day, this brings attention to the fight at hand and makes it much more popular among the public, resulting in the fight generating immense profit.
Well, what do you make of this sort of back and forth and now people are saying maybe just a bit?
I think it's good because it's healthy for boxing. Without competition, you can't make any money, and that's what we're in it to do, make dough.
Now, these kinds of statements are not new occurrences with Tyson because from the very beginning of his career, the Gypsy King has been quite vocal about his motivations before accepting a fight where the main driving force is the money that he gets out of it rather than the glitz and glamour. According to countless reports that have been circulating online regarding this fight, there is no doubt that this will be a major event, especially in the local market based on how British boxing fans have been hoping for this fight for quite some time, and now with a clear possibility of this finally happening, they will not let this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to slide away.
All the glitz and the glamour and all this that comes with all this boxing, yeah, I'm not really interested in it. I'm here to do my job, get a paycheck, go home.
Tyson, who cannot be considered a fan of AJ, surprisingly shared how after the humiliating beating that the 35-year-old fighter endured at the hands of his much younger adversary way back in September last year, he almost felt bad for him because, at the end of the day, it is a sad thing when someone who you have been looking forward to go and battle against for a very long time is coming from a heart-wrenching defeat which in broader aspect of things might have left some lasting effects on the fighter, no matter how much he tries to underplay this factor.
The British public would still like to see that.
Yeah.
Is it on your
I feel sorry
brain?
for him at the minute because he's obviously been cleaned out his last fight, called it out 5-round spark. So he's going to have to do that again or not and then decide his future. And quite a lot actually. After every loss I felt a little bit down, deflated. Because when an adversary loses and it's not to you, you do feel down and depressed about it. I felt sad for him. I was probably the only person at ringside, from my side of the ring, that was sad. It was sad to see. A worthy opponent lose his crown.
Addressing the claims that this might not be a good fight for either boxer in terms of popularity because they both are coming out of serious defeats, Tyson emphasized the fact that no matter how many times his adversary has been brought down or how many times he has faced defeat at the hands of much more adept fighters, if the fight is good commercially and will promise a good payday, then giving up an opportunity like this will be quite foolish and absurd. Because in this industry, even though legacy and prestige matters a lot to some people, they have to make sure to leave with hefty checks to ensure their survival for the upcoming years when they eventually retire.
It's not important because at this stage of our careers, it's about having good fights and putting good fights on for the paying customer. And I still think it would be an entertaining, interesting fight for the paying pundit.
Moreover, just like Eddie, Tyson also shared his wishes about fighting in the Riyadh season once again before he moves on to England, elaborating that due to the involvement of major stakeholders from all around the world, these fights here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia tend to do a lot better than those in other countries. So if they are able to get good numbers here, they can then eventually plan a rematch in Wembley, which will be solely directed for the loyal British fans who have stuck by them for so many years.
Whoever wins out of them two, then I'll do that fight here in Saudi, and then maybe if it's Joshua, then we do a rematch at Wembley.
Can I ask you, obviously,
That would be the cherry on the top, like that'd be it. Finished.
Sharing his chances at winning this potential fight, Tyson stated that although he is aware of the fact that Anthony is an exceptional fighter who possesses tremendous power as well as unprecedented skills, he is not invincible, which has been proven in the last couple of years. So if he and his team stick to a meticulously crafted game plan, then he will have a good chance at winning this Battle of Britain, no matter who trains Anthony or how many months he labors away in the fight camp leading up to the fight night.
AJ, an advantage having someone like that in camp?
I don't think so, no. Every fight's different. No two fights are the same, as we've seen many, many times. I don't think that really has any weight to hold.
However, not everyone appears to be this optimistic based on the fact that after these comments from the fighters garnered attention on social media, many experts and boxing fanatics have started to point out the potential flaws in this plan, with the most notable one being the lack of meaning behind this fight. Highlighting this particular factor, renowned analyst and boxing reporter Simon Gordon thinks that this fight is nothing but a gimmick because, at the end of the day, no one will really pay to see this take place, no matter how much the fighters and their teams try to prove otherwise. Labeling this fight as the battle of the losers, Simon stated that at this stage, the most appropriate decision for the fighters would be to bid farewell to the game because they really don't have anything left to give and that they have lost all their charm and hype in the last couple of years.
Do you want to see AJ against Fury, Simon?
Honestly, not particularly. The battle of the losers. In terms of, you know, they both come off the back of defeats. They're no longer, they have the prestige they once had before. I like my boxing with jeopardy and with meaning, not with bragging rights and finances.
While sharing his thoughts on the vital force that seems to be pushing for this fight, Simon elaborated that the main reason that he is really against this fight is that this adds nothing substantial to the sport and that there is nothing meaningful behind it. Further adding to this debate, Simon stated that the only reason that this fight is being made in the first place is to solely make money for the fighters who have fallen off the grid and for their promoters to then go on and brag about how they were the ones who made this fight possible for the British fans, when in reality, no one seems to be really looking forward to it now.
Everybody making sure that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua get a big payday and someone gets the bragging rights about two fighters that on the other side. Joshua has just been cleaned out by Daniel Dubois, lost twice to Usyk.
Yeah.
Fury has been beaten twice by Usyk now. No, I don't care. I understand why people want to see it, and I get it. And I suspect if it were on, I'd probably watch it. But am I clamouring to watch Fury versus Joshua in a fight that has no meaning behind it besides?
Just like Simon, another person who seems to be against the idea of this fight is Johnny Nelson, who did not shy away from expressing his emotions regarding the matter, stating that with nothing of value backing this fight, it will not be as eminent as people might be making it out to be. Questioning the reason behind even making such a ludicrous offer in the first place, he commented on how at this stage accepting this fight will only be for delaying the inevitable, so the best thing would be to retire with what little dignity they have left.
Anthony Joshua?
You know, these guys, of course, that carrot's going to be dangled in front of them, both of them. But it's a case of, you know, why? You know, why? And the thing is, someone's got to lose, and then they've got to live within themselves after that, so why? I actually now don't think that fight will happen. A massive carrot will be dangling in front of him, but I don't think it will happen.
Making his position clear on where stands on this fight, Johnny expressed how he thinks that this fight will most probably not leave the boardroom negotiations and will not see the light of the day based on the fact that both the fighters are really not into it for the sake of any notoriety or some chivalry for the fans, but the only driving force is the money, and now with the interest regarding this dropping to an all-time low, they will most probably choose to not pursue it any further. So in the end, what do you guys think about this potential fight? What are your thoughts on these comments and revelations made by AJ? Do you think that accepting this fight will be the better decision, or do you believe that it will be a huge mistake? Make sure to tell us about your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to our channel.